Hello YouTube, wishing you a beautiful day and welcome today to my jungle tier list. Here I represent to you. First we're going to do from Iron to Emerald Elo, which I consider the low Elo bracket. I'm going to rate it from S to no bueno. Keep in mind that I have played now hundreds of games in the new season. And this is basically the first tier list I make in the new seasons because I want to gather as many information as possible. So it is also very accurate. Okay, let's get it started.
My blade is yours.
Starting off with the most important champions in this patch to climb with is 100% Diana and Nocturne. Diana is the strongest champion in the entire game right now for the jungle if played correctly. Now, of course, that is because of the Dusk and Dawn, but even before that item, she is extraordinarily strong. Similar goes with Ekko. I'm going to rate him here as well. Who finds him first? Okay, Ekko. Ekko is also considered one of the strongest junglers. For lower MMR, he is very difficult to play. That is the reason I want to put him around B tier, C tier, because to play him well is going to be a very big difficulty. Keep in mind that Diana is in fact very similar than Ekko. The only advantage Diana has in comparison is that she has a lot of DPS and she's simple to play. Why? Because you just use your E when you hit your Q. And you just basically out attack and press all your abilities. You will always have a good DPS. Now, if you want to climb and you don't know which jungler you want to be playing, then my big advice for you is to play a few games of Diana and make sure to just focus on a high CS count, low def. This is, generally speaking, the biggest advice I can give for low elo players to climb, but especially with Diana. There's not many champions that beat her in terms of farming speed. There are not many champions that beat her in DPS output. Even Nocturne has fine burst / DPS, which doesn't even come close to Diana. Plus, she's an AP character in a world where you have a lot of AD characters. Also in low MMR, there's a lot of players that just want to play an auto-attack champion that deals damage, like Master Yi, like Xin Zhao on the mid lane, Yasuo, like all these champions, you know it already. Yeah, so that is why we like Diana. She is the AP version to climb with. Beautiful. Now we get to Viego. A very difficult champion. I will rate him B tier. Now keep in mind, similar with Ekko, Viego has probably one of the highest potentials to climb with from all elos. Also getting them to high elo, but we will do the high elo tier list later in this video. You can also see in the timestamps below the specific champions you want to see first. We're going to have timestamps for every champion we rate. My big advice for you guys is simply learn how to play Viego. It's a very difficult champion, but the reward ratio you get for learning this champion is extraordinary. When I play Viego, let's just assume in low MMR, he's probably one of the best champions to climb with. Why? Because you will always get a reset from. In high elo, it's difficult to play Viego very well because these challenger players, these high elo players will be very aware that just don't give Viego one reset. So all 5 enemies will make sure that doesn't happen. In lower elo, there will always be one victim, one guy that does a mistake. If you get a reset from an enemy Nautilus, Braum, Skana, it doesn't matter. The fight is basically won because you get all their abilities and you can switch back to Viego to have all the Viego abilities again just to get the next reset. So resetting champions in general in lower elo is pretty strong, but Viego is B tier single-handedly because it's difficult to play. So if you're a Viego main, if you're a Viego, like you want to one-trick him, or you like because he's also a very, very cool character. I would say for myself, actually one of the coolest characters in entire League of Legends, counting all champions, all roles. Okay, so my advice for you, if you want it easy, play Diana. If you want it a little bit more difficult, but extremely rewarding, play Viego. If you play Viego well, he would be standing right next to Diana. Now let's talk about Master Yi. Master Yi, I see a lot of complaints about Master Yi. That he's not that strong, he's not that weak, and he gets countered very quickly. No, in fact, he is just getting harder in this patch than in last patch. Why? Because you're not allowed to do that many mistakes. Game is just very snowball heavy. If you play against a Vi, a Lee Sin, a Talon, a Jayce, a Gragas, it doesn't matter. The moment they're fed, Master Yi can't do much against them. It's very hard to do anything. Riven, right? How are you gonna play against a Riven when you are behind as he? On the other hand, when you are very ahead on Master Yi, it's even more snowball heavy, leading to both centers, if you have it like here, when you're very ahead, when you're very behind, is extremely hard to recover from behind, extremely hard to, like, it's very easy to win when you're ahead, basically, right? So that leads to just you having lesser opportunities for mistakes. Okay, so you understand that very quickly. Ivern for low MMR, people don't understand it, but he's actually very hard to play because a good Ivern spaces a lot. A good Ivern plays with her Daisy. A good Ivern makes sure he is positioned very well. All these things at low MR, he just gets one shot. He hits his Q. Apart from that, he doesn't control his Daisy correctly, so he just gets one shot. He is around Z tier, around the same tier as Ekko. For sure, not in Viego tier. Cho'Gath is fine, but for low MMR, he is actually decent for low MMR because you just need to, you just get tanky. He is very decent scaling. Has a decent scaling because he's gonna get a lot of ults off, especially when playing for objectives. I think he is in higher elo very, very bad, but as I said, we will get to that later. I always like to put the comparison here, so a lot of people that are just interested how he is in comparison here, they will already see the difference. In lower elo, the good thing about Cho'Gath is, first of all, enemies don't respect his burst damage output he has on ganks. Second of all, they won't respect him getting to the late game. They don't know that he's scaling actually decently because he's becoming massive, right? And he's just a very simple character to play. So for the low elo players, he's interesting for two reasons. Enemies are not aware. And second of all, he's not that complicated to get strong with. You just farm, you get some sneaky picks with your Q, you have nice gank setup. Big advice for the Cho'Gath players. Play in general for anyone that has CC. You should play for CC chain. That means when you gank mid lane as Cho'Gath and there's a Twisted Fate gold carding enemy, then you press your Q. You don't just randomly click Q and they just dash it, sidestep it, you know. That will happen in low MMR. But in low MMR, they will not respect a Twisted Fate standing closer to them. They will not be like, oh fuck, Twisted Fate walks up. They don't think about that. So Twisted Fate walks up, gold card, now he's stunned. Cho'Gath Q. How high is the chance Cho'Gath Q hits? It's precisely 100%. So that is how you get the kills, okay? It's similar with Jax, but Jax is just not that good because he's just slower. Champions like Viego, Nocturne, he are just better. So he is basically Z, D tier. Not that strong, wouldn't recommend. Karthus, very simple, but hard to play in low elo because the Q position isn't that good, the positioning is not that good, the usage of the passive is not that good. So he's around Z tier as well. Aatrox jungle, sadly, is not good for low elo because Aatrox has a lot of champion-specific strengths and weaknesses. For example, one of his strengths is stat checking the enemy jungle in invades. Okay, in lower elo, it's very hard to pull that out in a correct way. If you just full clear with Aatrox and play normally jungle, you can just play another jungler and get more rewarded for that. Like Wukong. Wukong is just better version for low elo. Wukong is straight up a better version of Aatrox in low elo. Because with Wukong, you cannot just walk into enemy jungler and stat check, contesting buffs. With Aatrox, when you know the abilities and the champion very well, not many champions come close to the potential he has in terms of that. But it's really hard to find that, and I would recommend, of course, if you want to play Aatrox, that is completely fine. You can also, for every champion in low elo, get him tiers higher just by being good. This is for any elo. If you play Ekko in low elo perfectly, then he's immediately S tier, okay? That is very different than in high elo. In high elo, it matters way more on which tier they actually are. In lower elo, this is generalizing true. And for the reasons I say, for example, champion being hard, enemies being not aware, okay? If you play Ekko, enemies will not respect his counter gank potential, right? And if you play 200 games in gold, then 200 games you play against 200 different players and 200 times they didn't respect it. Now, if you play Ekko in Challenger Elo, right, then they will always respect it. So even if you're good Ekko players, his strengths will still not apply. Okay, so Wukong. Wukong is tricky champion. Wukong is especially strong on his ult. His ult is almost a consistent 60% damage output. Just make sure that you play correctly. That means you Q ult, out the Q ult instead of ult, out attack ult, for example. Make sure to get your Qs in between, number one. Then next is play with your W correctly. You don't want to engage with W, EQ, ult. That's terrible. Because then you don't have W anymore. You don't have a disengage. At best, you want to engage with E, so you without using your W, correct? Out attack Q ult, W, out attack Q ult. At best, okay? Now, if that doesn't work, in some situations when I play Wukong, I even play flash E out attack Q ult. So I still have my W, similar with Master E flash engage combo. Riven is no bueno, okay? For low elo, she's not bueno. Now, you could put her in D tier, Z tier again if you're a good Riven player. I would even say B tier. The higher elo we go, the better she is, because she just has, like, you need to know the combos, you need to know the matchups, you need to know where the limits are. She's a very one-trick poly champion. I would even call that for jungle, she's way harder than for top lane, because on jungle, you need to not only know the champion perfectly, also know the game perfectly and the setup perfectly and when to engage where. It's kind of difficult. I would say if you put someone like Alois in the jungle with Riven, that would be very spicy content. And if he combines his knowledge with his skill on the champion, that is a deadly combo. Would love to see something like that. But again, if you're not a one trick, if you come from the top lane, by the way, if you come from the top lane and you're an Aatrox main, you're a Jax main, you're a Riven main, I would recommend to play those champions in the jungle. But if you play those champions in the jungle, build an advantage through that. Means you need to be specifically good at certain things and reply that every game, because the enemies you play versus will be different enemies. So the tactics and tools you use can be applied throughout every single game you play. Same with Ambessa. Talking about Ambessa, I think she is Z tier, around the same tier as, yeah, she's probably worse than Karthus. In high elo, Aatrox and Ambessa are both way stronger. When I was in Korea, those were like the best junglers by far. Needed to get hotfix nerfed, so broken they are, right? But low elo players just don't know how to play it correctly with the damage output knowledge and with the dashes. Okay, Zed gets nerfed a lot, but I don't even think the nerf is gonna be that bad. Yet still, I'm not 100% sure though. I didn't invest too much time into investigating, but I'm not sure that people can play him very well in lower elo, because he is glass cannon, he is squishy, he is an assassin that only gets one pick, and I think champions like Xin Zhao are just by default way better. Xin Zhao next would rate the same tier as the Master Yi. When you play Xin Zhao, I really like the Titanic Hydra into Sandra Sky Rush. Very powerful. Make sure to play with the auto attack reset with your Q. And I mean, the Dusk and Dawn healing builds with things out, that's all awesome and all. But the moment Dusk Dawn gets nerfed now, I don't think that's the play. I think we should always go Titanic Hydra on the Xin Zhao. Briar also receiving a buff. Very cool champion. Sadly, very hard to pilot. For lower elo, it is actually, yeah, it's a tricky champion. I think it's a very cool character, very cool design. Just a tricky design because you can fuck yourself up in so many different ways. Now, with Briar, I would recommend to there's a Briar one trick that plays her all the time. I also uploaded a Briar guide where I reviewed that Briar one. So you can check on YouTube my Briar guide, and there's one player that plays a lot of Briar. If you do play champions like unique champions, watch the best players in those champions and find the burst damage outputs. With Briar with the Titanic Hydra, she is powerful. I don't respect her damage in the past, right? And especially won't your emerald enemies won't, right? Volibear, very cool champion, very cool, very fun champion. Sadly not the best in low MMR. I think Wukong, Cho'Gath, Viego are both a little bit better. Left to right matters. He's just around Wukong. He doesn't have a strong ult as Wukong. Like Volibear is decent, but not as strong as Wukong ult at all. And yeah, he's very fine. Decent DPS. Can fight objectives decently. Has a good free 4v4 skirmish potential. Wouldn't rate him though the absolute best here in this position. Sion is no bueno. Why? Because you're not the Baus FSS. I would recommend to, yeah, if you want to play in a sneaky way, a little bit invadey, cheesy, playing with your passive, doing some shenanigans, that's awesome and all, right? Go for it. But for the climbing process, I wouldn't vouch for that in that position. Okay, Lee Sin, difficult champion, very nice to play with the fundamentals correctly. Fundamentals with Lee Sin matter so much. What is the most important fundamentals with Lee Sin? 2. I'm gonna let you guess. Number 1, numbers advantage. Very important with Lee Sin. Number 2, playing around your win conditions. If you have a carry and you have consistent W on the carry and ulting the enemy engage away, your carry will go monstrous. Okay, Briar is better though. In low elo, he's not that good. No, where's my Jarvan? Where's my Jarvan? My beloved Jarvan. Okay, let's talk about Jarvan real quick. I love this character so much. If you play Jarvan in lower MMR, this champion could be the best. Why? Because people do not respect his flag. Means you flag on one position, Q. Now you walk away, the flag stays on the position. Enemies chase you, and then your Q is back up, your flag still sends you Q back to the flag. Talking about bruiser build, not lethality. If that is applied correctly, if you learn the masters of Jarvan to master this champion, he is legit the best. Now, I do say, because it's low MMR, like for high elo, it's then different because people respect the Q difference, they respect the healing, they know how to kill them by burst and stuff. In lower elo, that doesn't happen. If you have the correct build, which is, you don't want to go Eclipse at best, you want to go Sundra Sky into Black Cleaver. That's at best for low MMR. And then you want to go Frozen Heart, Spirit Visage, EQ, Outstack, Sundra Sky healing, Spirit Visage healing, W, kiting, Q back to the flag, knock up again. Next Sundra Sky healing, W, EQ again. Like, you have so many tools to be a monster. He is scaling very well. Sadly, no other players don't know this. But if you learn the masters of Jarvan, and now it comes an interesting way. This is for Viego and Jarvan, okay? Both champions. I'm going to be playing a lot on the Zineria's coaching account. Just real quick for you guys, okay? Here, this account, I'm going to play to Challenger Elo on stream. And I'm going to also upload a lot on this on YouTube at best as well. And I'm not going to play Master Yi here. I don't want to play Master Yi. I want to play everything but Master Yi just to play a lot of these junglers like Viego, Jarvan, right? Because on my main account, my goal is not to climb to Challenger, my goal is always to climb to rank 1, and the best would be to play just basically my Master Yi and my Viego, Master Yi and my Bel'Veth, because I'm climbing to rank 1, not to top 10 or anything else, right? And then of course I can play Viego, Jarvan, but my Master Yi is just my best champion. So on this account, I want to climb to rank 1 playing Master Yi Bel'Veth, and on this account, I want to climb to rank 1 high Challenger with everything else. Okay, so I'm going to play a lot of Jarvan and Viego. You can check it out. If you learn how to play Jarvan and Viego, you can have very easy time in low elo because people will never respect the things you do. Okay, Amumu, the basic champion. Was better in the past. I don't see how this champion is that strong right now. Plus, he's not even that easy because the tool with Amumu to be useful is to hit his Q. The tool with Amumu to be useful is to play correct macro. Now, with Amumu, if you do play him, remember the numbers advantage. If there's a 4v3, Amumu will beat anything. Why? Because he's stunned. He stuns enemies, right? He will beat anything. Q, ult, Q. Like, the fight is already won. Nothing happened. So with Amumu, even numbers or numbers advantage, numbers behind is terrible for Amumu because he stuns, but your teammates are already so busy with all these numbers to fight against them that it's not that nice, right? Shyvana, right now D tier, Z tier, and I'm very looking forward to the changes on Shyvana. Like, I'm hyped up. I'm going to be playing it. I'm gonna make guides on it at best. I'm trying my best, guys. Always trying my best. And yeah, would love to see that as well. Talking about Vi, basic champion for low elo. Vi, of course, you need to hit your Q. For Vi, you can sneak early dragons. Your Q is like hard to hit, so try to use it on CC target. Then try to use your ult to engage and Q after your ult. Use your ult on numbers even or numbers advantage, and basic champion has insane burst damage. Q auto E, boom, up HP. Lillia, similar than Amumu. I think harder than Amumu, so she's a bit difficult. You need to know how to space and position yourself pretty decently. How to kite, how to use your abilities. Like QE is important, and you're good to go. Whew. Now, Jayce, no bueno for low MMR. D tier, probably Z tier because he's so strong in general. Yeah, I will put him Z tier. In high, he's S tier. He's really hard to play, but I mean, champion is just in general is so strong. So even in lower elo, he has some power there. Pantheon is also Z tier because he's basic to play. You just press W and then you Q. You just don't throw your Q randomly. You just always Q tap. All your jungle creeps, all your enemy champions, right? Kha'Zix is underrated. I would rate him at a very high level, honestly. Now, he is probably around here with the potential to be S as well if you play him well. Now, there's a lot of players playing Kha'Zix really well, right? We have Stanza, we have Dead Dirt, we have Argorin. Watch all those players. They played also different styles, Bruiser, Lethality, right? I personally would recommend to watch Dead Dirt and Stanza. Same with Talon, by the way. These on the exact same tier, doing the exact same thing, being both assassins. That's also why Stanza, the best Talon on the server, consistently rank 1, plays Kha'Zix Talon, most likely, right? Why Dead Dirt and Stanza? Because both of them play Kha'Zix on the way the champion should be played. Argorin plays Kha'Zix on a very macro level, strategic chess kind of gameplay, playing it smart. Dead Dirt is a little bit of a psychopath with his invading and damage output and saying, I can kill this guy, I can do this. He's playing more Kha'Zix than he plays League of Legends, which I think is a very cool and respectful thing. I cannot touch this champion. Now, I rate Shaco. I cannot. Okay, I have to rate him. Okay, Shaco players are. Okay, I need to find a way to describe these things. But I dislike rating him. I dislike talking about him. I dislike anything about just look at this guy. Look at his face. Okay, now I'm just gonna do it right now, sacrificing myself for the Shaco players a little bit. He is probably D tier. Do not play him. Do not play Shaco. Don't do it to the enemies. These poor little souls. These are gold players. 40-year-old father who comes home from work to clear his blue buff. And then the Shaco is there, dancing like this. Like, bro, let our brother Gustavo farm his blue buff with his Volibear, okay? We actually rate him, I have to be honest here, because I'm just too honest. He is probably Z tier, a little bit worse than Lee Sin. He does his shenanigans with invading, cheesy, but apart from that, he's difficult to play. And now let's move on to the next character. Okay, Fiddlesticks. It's difficult because you need to find the old angles. You need to get yourself ahead. You need to know how to not get invaded. You need to know the angles. It's a bit of a one-trick pony champions that can go from D tier to B tier. Very cool champion. I like him. Never really play him because I just put my focus on other characters. But maybe one day I will have a Fiddlesticks arc, which is cool. Now, I don't think he's that good. I think if you want to play something like that, just play Amumu. It's basic and more simple, basic and just easier, doing the same output. Okay, Sylas, also no bueno. He's difficult to play in low MMR. You need to constantly fight. And if you die and you fall behind, you are just getting useless and useless. I also would recommend the Riftmaker build. You are very powerful with that. Gragas is just not a jungler right now. I would rate him as no bueno because champions like Ekko, like Diana, like Lillia do the same as Gragas. Because Gragas has one burst with his body slam and then he's useless if you go in full AP. He has his body slam W auto attack and now he's useless. While Diana QE auto W auto. Like, it's not comparable, right? Morgana, interesting jungler. Just not that strong. Has her W clear. I wouldn't recommend her to play her. Personally, no bueno is like it's just not good. You can do something smarter. Okay. Now, Morgana actually is pretty difficult, I would say, in terms of being very impactful in comparison to other junglers. You need to hit your Q. You will miss the Q because low elo also doesn't know perfectly how to hit the Q again on charm targets and also cutting the people off. If you don't hit your Qs, then don't play the Morgana. That's basically what I say to this. Trundle. Very basic, very cool champion, very simple champion, pretty strong champion, has the potential to be A tier and B tier and Z tier. Play Hullbreaker Trundle, play with your pillar. That means if you dummy an enemy, here's an enemy, right? Do not pillar like randomly around this guy or in his guy. Be precise on your pillaring. Means if you are here and the enemy tries to disengage, you need to be very precise on the edge here. No, not here. This was wrong. Like here, to knock him into you where he has the longest way to disengage. Every pillar you use needs to be pixel precise because it's a 16 to 20 seconds cooldown ability. Perfect. Dr.Mundo. Simple, strong character. I would rate him the same as Cho'Gath. Very decent. Can scale very well. We gotta say push, 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 push for our beautiful brother Alois. And now, Nunu was Giga broken, then got Giga nerfed, and is okay. Fine to play, especially when you're out of it. There are a lot of people that are just like in a simple way. You get dragons early, you just spam gank. It's fine, right? For sure playable. You can do it's around the same as the Ivern. Now, Qiyana, no bueno, hard to play, very hard to pull off. In low MMR, very hard to pull off. It is a pretty skillful champion where you need to do a lot of things, but has a lot of broken tools. So I would rate Qiyana around D tier as well, similar to Morgana, no bueno. Graves is Z tier, better than Briar. I would say Graves is, around Ambessa tier, Sin tier. He fits there really, really well. If you play Graves, play with your raw damage output, which is his biggest strength. Hecarim is getting buffed. He is also pretty basic. He is also on the same tier as Graves. If you play Hecarim, play around your Q being stacked and long extended fights, which is his specific strength, right? Brand jungle is just not as similar as Morgana. They are just better picks. All the other AP champions, higher tiers, are just better in that sense. Gwen for low MMR is actually underrated for the jungle. And she is, if played correctly again, probably one of the best junglers to play. How do you play her correctly now? You need to, first of all, I also made an unranked to master series with Gwen jungle. You can check that out as well. Make sure to farm a lot. Make sure to scale with side lane picks. Similar with Trundle, play side lane. That means 2v2 on with Hullbreaker with Trundle here. You play to get those towers, and if enemies fight in a 2v2 skirmish, imagine Gwen and Volibear top lane versus Jarvan and Sion top lane. You're gonna destroy them with Gwen. Snip, snip, right? But in a team fight, she is not the best in comparison to what other champions do or the early ganking setup. Oh, Warwick. I have not played him in a while. I miss him, actually. Have to play him more. Yeah, he is same tier as Hecarim. Actually, he is better because he's simple to play. Very cool, actually. It makes him... I want to play him as well. Yeah, fun champion. Strong champion, has potential, also has some weaknesses, completely fine for the champion choice. Udyr is spicy. I mean, keep in mind with Udyr, you have the level 4 and the stat checking potential that you almost want something with your empowered Q. He is a very powerful champion, but also I don't rate him that strong. He is a little bit worse than Gwen around that tier, and the other AP champions are still better in that sense. With Talia, it's almost similar than with Udyr. Talia is indeed better than Morgana Brand because she has more DPS and consistent damage output. And she's always powerful, has decent clears, pretty fast, mobile on plays. Evelynn is a sneaky assassin, an AP assassin, which is not that often, right? AP champions being nice assassins is a very cool thing. Again, for Evelynn, she is not in the absolute best spot right now, but has a decent potential to be strong because people, myself included, do not respect her burst, actually. Like, the fact that she's permanently invisible applies so much pressure, and in low MR they don't respect the pressure. So you can just walk up on enemies on side again in jungle and just kill them. And you have enough burst. So he is better than Udyr, better than Talia, better than Karthus, better than those AP versions, and she's more of an assassin style, right? So if you're a Kha'Zix player, Talon player, you can also do 2-tricking. You can do Kha'Zix Evelynn 2-trick. You can do full lethality Jarvan Evelynn 2-trick. That is fine. Completely fine. Then you have an AP version and an AD version. Elise, strong champion, hard to pilot. Same tier as Talia. Better than Udyr, better than Gwen. Better than Jayce for sure. I would even rate Jayce a little bit lower here because he's, again, very hard to play. Better than Shyvana, better than Shaco. Yeah, Elise is, not better than those two. I think she's just better than Briar, and that's about it. Okay, Orange jungle, no bueno. They're just better picks. The buffs he got wasn't enough. And he's okay, but I would recommend you to play any other jungler. Just doesn't help you to climb. Kindred is not that strong right now, also for low MMR. If you play her, then try to play around your marks, which is also a bait. If you see that enemies play constantly trying to avoid the mark, you can always play plays on the other side of the map where enemies won't be because they are so forced on protecting their mark. Yeah, you can find catches. You like in general, I think at low elo it's pretty easy to stack off the mark in the first place because if you mark someone, you can just walk up to them and kill them. There won't be like in high elo, oh, Kindred is here, I need to respect, I don't want to give her the mark. And she's very good in late game scaling. So I think she's better than Jayce, around the same tier as Talia. Zac, simple, strong, decent, worse than Lillia, a little bit worse than Ekko for low MMR. Fine, tank jungle, AP version tank jungle. Similar to Sejuani, but Sejuani is just worse. This is around here, those tank versions. We have Ramos as well, not that strong. Even as counter pick for Master Yi. A lot of people think he's a great counter pick. He's not even that strong against Master Yi. If he presses his W, Master Yi just presses W. Like he is Master Yi attacks him, then Master Yi stays in his W until Ramos' W falls off, and then Yi legit one-shots Ramos. This is legit the matchup. I don't think Ramos is a good champion. I would recommend you so many different characters I rated here to pick before picking Ramos, okay? Now, Malphite jungle. Tricky. If you're an autofill jungler, you don't know how to play jungle in the first place, you just want to get your ult off, or enemies have champions that you just need to kill, like Jinx, Vayne, you can just ult them and they just die, right? You don't need to go like assassin AP build. You can go simply tank build and still one-shot the Vayne. If you have Frozen Heart and E and you ult the Vayne and then E her, she is useless. So he's actually a decent pick, but he's situational. That means in some comps he's B tier, in some comps he's D tier. Of course, if you play him correct, he's going to be higher tier. So playing better leads to your champion being 1-2 tiers up in low MMR, which is not the case in higher. In higher, it's maximum 1 tier. And also counter pick and specific situation for Malphite, also another 1-2 tiers. So he can jump from Z tier to D tier, and he can jump from Z tier to S tier. So you understand the point, right? And if the matchup is good, he's just A tier. He can be A tier when the matchup is good, completely fine. A little bit better than Gwen even. I mean, Gwen is, as I said, she has decent potential, but problem with Gwen is that people go for normal ganks, people go for normal farm, people go for normal objective contests, and she's just not good at that. Now, Maokai, no bueno, wouldn't recommend them in the jungle right now. I think they're just better junglers, like Zac. He's just better than Maokai. Maokai is not that good right now, he needs buffs. Rek'Sai, underrated, very strong, not that good in low MMR. He is probably around the same tier, a little bit better than Sejuani, yeah, around here. This is perfect placement. Bel'Veth. Bel'Veth is getting buffed. Smiley face. Smiley, smiley, smiley face. Bel'Veth is very interesting position to think about it. Bel'Veth is B tier, but it's lower MMR, so I have to put her around here. Yeah, I have to put her around Z tier. Yeah, but Bel'Veth has decent potential now with the buffs coming, with her scaling. She's just very hard to pilot. We gotta learn how to play the Bel'Veth at the correct terms, and then we all have great potential with her. Fizz jungle is not that strong, more of an assassin style, similar than Evelynn, but worse position than Evelynn. Skarner jungle, no bueno right now, would not recommend. He is just not that strong. He is just pretty much garbage in comparison to what he could be. Mordekaiser jungle, interesting pick, similar with Nasus jungle. I don't think it's that good. There is just champions that are way better. I would say Nasus jungle though is Z tier, interesting pick. Mordekaiser jungle is like for low MMR because you stack your Q, focus on the Q stacking, you're gonna be an absolute monster in low MMR. People don't respect it that much. Mordekaiser is just not good, but he is still playable. He's not no bueno. He is still somehow playable. Similar with Darius, completely fine. One-trick pony champion. Zyra. Zyra is also absolutely okay. Nothing bad with that. She is a little bit better than Nasus, but the problem again is they are just junglers. AP junglers that do the same thing. Same with Teemo here. Putting Teemo at the exact same rate. They are just champions that do these, like Nidalee as well. It's not good. These are just not good junglers for low MMR. I would not recommend it. Like Nidalee, Teemo, Nasus, Zyra, these are all fine. But the thing is, they do have their impact and their positive things, and maybe they're fun to play. You can go for that. But again, they are just champions that do the exact same at a better rate. And Zyra, for example, extremely fast clear. Very good at doing objectives, very good at fighting team comp with the team correct, right? Then just play Lillia Amumu. Then you don't need to hit abilities and you're not that squishy. You just get one shot in low MMR. Okay, then we have Kayn. Sadly, not that strong. Needs to get buffs. Blue Kayn getting buffed. Interesting. Gonna be nice. I'm curious. Let's just keep him there. So far, he's not that strong. He is probably at the same tier as... Yeah, a little bit worse than Kindred. He's around Rek'Sai level. Needs to get buffed. Naafiri jungle. Sahin jungle, no bueno. Wouldn't recommend. He's probably D tier. Rumble jungle is straight up no bueno. He isn't that good right now. Would not recommend. Other champions are again just better. Olaf jungle is tricky. You can stat check enemies pretty well. Yeah, he's around here from the skill level. You can lane invade with him pretty well. You can play very aggressive. You have an out-sustain heal build, which low elo players will never... Like, they will be so mad about your out-healing. Death Stance, Ravenous Hydra, very tricky. Rengar, nice assassin champion. He has some potential to be a monster. I would rate him a little bit better than Gwen. He's better than Shaco as well. Better than Lee Sin. Better than Elise. He's next to Hecarim. Decent potential, yeah? Worse than Bel'Veth. Better than Hecarim. Ambessa also shouldn't be that far up. Looking at it, she got here pretty high for no reason. She should be around Jayce level. Yeah, this is more very accurate. Naafiri, interesting pick, D tier, but if like her damage is also surprisingly high, so she could be decent, easily Z tier, Z plus. And Poppy jungle isn't that strong right now. For low MMR, a little bit better. So Poppy is also around C tier, better than Nasus. Yeah, around that. I don't think we can put Nasus that high on the tier list. I mean, he's not even that shit, right? I'm gonna keep him here actually. No, Fiddlesticks has to be better. I have to put him around here, straight up. And yeah, this is a very good. Do I see any problems with it? This is my low elo tier list. I'm gonna now start thinking about the high elo tier list and also the differences. First, I'm gonna get a break, get a little bit of coffee and fresh air. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, my friends. Let's go. Okay, now we make the quick tier list for the higher elo. That means this is gonna be from Diamond to Challenger. This is from Diamond to Challenger. Okay, now let's get it started. Diana, very strong. Nocturne, not that strong. Viego is actually A tier. Master Yi is probably A tier. Jarvan falling down to, yeah, also A tier. Kha'Zix is also A tier. Talon is B tier. I'm gonna start from top to bottom, so it's easier for me to get it. Xin Zhao, not that strong right now, I'm gonna put him B tier for now. Cho'Gath is Z tier, maybe D tier. Dr.Mundo is, yeah, I'm going to remove them here as well. Get them down here. Okay, Ekko is absolutely broken right now. Ekko is A tier as well. Diana is, what matches with Diana even at skill level? Karthus is decent. Elise is not that strong. Jayce is giga broken. Getting nerfed now. I'm gonna put him away because it's getting nerfed anyways, right? Zed is also getting nerfed. Kiana's giga broken. Lee Sin is at higher rate. Vi is completely fine. Lee Sin is not that good in comparison. Bel'Veth is completely fine. Nunu was completely fine. Zeg is decent. Warwick is not that strong right now. Nasus is no bueno. These are all no bueno, no bueno, no bueno. This is no bueno. This is no bueno for high elo MMR. Naafiri's okay. She's Z tier. Fizz is no bueno for high MMR. Jax is D tier. Fiddlesticks is C tier. Amumu is also not that good. Kayn is D tier. Wukong is 8. Yeah, Z tier. Nocturne has potential. Completely fine. Volibear has potential. Warwick does not have potential. Zed is pretty useless. This is already very accurate. Now Zyra is completely fine for high MMR. People know how to play her very well. She won't get caught. The positioning will be very fine. Ramos is not that strong in general. Shyvana is not that strong in high MMR. Pantheon is not that strong in high MMR. Gwen is okay. Probably the weaker side. Cho'Gath is okay. Poppy is okay. Zyra is okay. The Joanne is pretty useless. Pretty much no bueno. Wouldn't recommend for high MMR. Rek'Sai is actually very strong in high MMR right now. Vi not that much in comparison. Gwen, Volibear, Nocturne, Talia, yeah. There are better picks for sure. Kindred also, there are better picks. Ivern is fine. Zac is not that insane for high MMR. because his tankiness is not that good, and in high MMR people respect his jump, dash it, get it away, and then he's completely useless. Briar is not that insane. Shaco is completely fine in high MMR. Bel'Veth is fine in high MMR. Udyr is pretty useless. Ambessa is also pretty strong. Even, no, she is C tier, she stays C tier. Lillia is okay. Evelyn is not that insane. Hecarim will get strong. Okay. Broken. Very strong, very strong. For high elo, probably not. No, he's not that good. Jarvan, very strong. Kha'Zix, very strong. Rek'Sai, strong. Vi, strong. Talon, Yeek, Xin. Xin is a little bit better. No, he's not that good in high MMR. I don't see him that often, actually. Karthus, Lee Sin, Bel'Veth, Nunu. Yeah, this is pretty accurate now. Ivern is a little bit worse. Better than Xin. Hecarim is also getting buffed. That is amazing. Yeah, Volibear is not the best jungler right now in general. That jungler. Who else do I see all the time in high elo? Okay, let me check this one more time. Udyr, Briar, Zac, Pantheon, Shyvana, Ramos, Kane. Mundo is a bit better. Zahin, useless. Now, Gwen is worse than this guy. This is also pretty accurate. Mundo is better. Amumu is pretty shit, honestly. This looks really decent. Wow, this is now getting really good. Grace is not that good in high MMR, but better than Amumu for sure. Rengar's decent, Xin is decent, Ivern is decent, Heka, Listen, Nunu. Then we have Bel'Veth. That is amazing. This is pretty much high. Now you see the differences. There is a lot of difference now comparing it with low MMR. There's a lot of difference. Mainly, I would say that champions that are uniquely good are all pretty shit, because you will counter that in high MMR. And champions that are consistently having value. Diana, no matter how you play the game, she has value. Kiana, you just need 1 or 2 kills and she has insane value, can one-shot everyone. If she can one-shot everyone, it's high pressure. Therefore, also very, very, very scary. Viego, you need to constantly be aware to not get any resets. All 5 enemies need to be aware. Very hard to play versus. But Ekko jungle is not that strong in comparison. Alright, we keep it like this. So if you want to get better in low elo MMR, you have the tier list to climb. And this is now for high MMR for the people that want to climb. Enjoy it. Wish you the best. And if you want to, for example, play Graves at a very level, you can bring him up, but you are just not that strong in comparison. Do not get fooled now by saying, okay, my champion is not strong, that's why I can't climb. You can climb to Challenger with any champion at any time without problem. If you cannot, you're not good enough. If you can't climb to Challenger playing Nasus in jungle, you're not good enough. Because it is possible. Yes, it is. It is possible. Now, that is your motivation. You can climb 100% if you're getting better. So focus on that and enjoy the tier list here as a little bit of a hobby. Much love, guys.